Good Tuesday evening, and welcome to Gazette Sports Chat. This is episode 51. I'm your host, Joe Gilloway, and tonight we'll meet 9 members of the recently crowned PIAA Class 6A Central Dauphin softball team. We've met 5 of them before on prior podcasts this season, but now we have all of these 9 players together under entirely different circumstances. They just finished first out of 625 PIAA schools who compete for softball. So we're going to bring our we're going to bring our final guest in here, and we're going to bring them all up to you here in just a moment. Let's thank our sponsors, and they are Capital Region Insurance Agency, Rickabaz Electric, Payer Apparel, Ted's Bar and Grill, Freedom Financial Wealth Management, The Tire Mart, Team PA, AAU Basketball, Tonino's Pizza, American Legion, Post 272, Hoffman Ford, Capital Region Insurance Agency, Modern Imprint, Sam Hartley Decking, Crystal Bob at Iron Valley Real Estate, and Underdog Sports Bar and Grill. Thank you to these great local businesses for their continued support of Linglestown Gazette Sports and our area student athletes. Okay, so there they are. And even though they have their names underneath their picture, their photo, or their images there, I'm still going to introduce the players we have with us tonight. You can kind of give us one of these if you'd like. And they are Stella Gasper. She's a senior. Bree Locke, another senior. There's Bree in the middle. Rachel Burke, another senior. Kayla Fletcher. She's a junior. Abby Reams, a junior. Bryn Barkley. She is also a junior. Gabby Shirk's a junior. Rosie Reese, a sophomore. And we have one freshman tonight, Autumn Andrioli. And let's recognize, ladies, the players that weren't ever able to make it tonight. They are Haley San Martin, Sadie Ross, Izzy Rodriguez, Alexa Trimble, Brooke Ludwig, Lexi Robinell, and we thought we were going to have Elena Wolf, but she couldn't make it. So anyway, thank you for joining us, ladies. I know that a lot of people are really anticipating, really excited about this. And what I'm going to ask if you guys could do for me, though, is you see that ball right there above my finger? That's the 2019 Central Dauphin State Champion softball sign ball, okay? I already bought a ball. Could I have somebody kind of pass it around with your teammates and sign that so we can put it up here somewhere? Who wants to be in charge of that? Who's not going to college for a while? Stella, when do you leave for college?
The 24th, August 24th.
Okay. Well, you're a senior. You're a captain. Do you mind getting my ball signed? Okay.
I got it.
Thank you. I mean, we want to display it proudly up here somewhere.
Yep.
Okay. So let's just jump right into it. I have questions for everyone, and we're going to go in alphabetical order. I don't know how else to do this. I've never interviewed 9 people at once. I'm very excited about this. I've really been looking forward to it. And so we're going to start with Autumn Andrioli. Did you know you were going to be first? Andrioli, that's the beginning of the alphabet. So sorry about this. I know you're not too big on kind of public speaking and public appearances, but you might have to get used to it, Autumn, after finishing out the season like that. So in the course of 8 days and 19 and a third innings pitched, your entire high school sports career changed. Does it feel like that? Did it feel that way after you were done with that state championship game?
Yeah, I guess it did, yeah. Because I knew at the beginning of the year and the middle of the year, I wasn't really pitching as much as I was towards the end and postseason.
Well, just to give the viewers put things into context, you pitched 17 innings all season, and that was over the course of 11 weeks. Then you pitched 19 and a third inning in 8 days. So obviously, your team needed you, your coach trusted you, and I mean, I was kind of tickled to see you come through that way. Just to see you get the opportunity and embrace it the way you did was incredible. And I remember I asked you the night after you guys came home from State College. I asked you if you were nervous. You said, "Yeah, I was nervous." And why wouldn't you be? That's going to be my next question. What was it like taking the field in the top of the first there, running out on that beautiful? It's like a stadium with the concrete bleachers and all that. What was that like?
I think we were all very nervous, and we were all just like ready to just go out and just do our warm ups and get right into the game because it just felt the whole hour of warming up just felt forever.
Yeah, you were ready to play, right? Um, okay, I didn't know if I was going to ask you or Kayla this. Kayla, she's just shortstop, right? Been around for a while. She's like a seasoned, grizzled old vet. She's been doing this for 3 years. She's been in a lot of big games. She came over to you between almost every pitch, pretty much the whole game. I'm not going to ask you to be specific. That's between you and her. But what was kind of the gist of her messages? What was she telling you before the next pitch?
She would just be telling me like, "Good pitch, you got it, you're the best." Just like making me more confident, just making me more confident, and yeah, she does that a lot in every game usually.
Is that just Kayla Fletcher, Kayla? Is that just the way Kayla Fletcher plays?
Yeah.
Kayla, I'm asking you too.
Yeah, I knew that she was really nervous, so I was just trying to keep her really confident and know that she could do whatever it took to help us win.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost between every pitch. I watched the whole thing and I said, man, that's being a teammate. You knew you had been there, Kayla. You'd been in big games before, maybe not in that big, of course not in that big, but district championships and other big games, and you were kind of allowing your younger teammate to, you know, you were kind of taking some of the nerves away from her, I guess, is probably the best way of putting it. Okay, let's go move on to Bryn Barkley. You didn't start that game, okay? And you were a
Yeah.
regular. You played a lot of innings this year. Had a lot of. You were like a starter basically, but you can only put so many players on the field, and Coach Hartley had a plan. I mean, he had to put the players out in the field for that particular game. Um, did you feel like you'd end up with an opportunity to contribute when you were sitting there on the bench for a while?
I kind of felt like probably like sometime like my turn would come through and then I'd get on the field and have an opportunity to be a part of the game. I just knew it like took time and that if I patiently waited it would like come along.
Yeah, you kind of. It's probably a little bumming. You were probably bummed out a little bit there for a while, but I mean, could you ever go from like, you know, not being part at all to maybe being the biggest part of a win? I mean, was that kind of like a fantasy ending for you after all that wait?
Yeah, it was an unreal moment. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was yeah, it's something that you'd see written into a book or a movie, really, So, and we're going to get in later. We're going to just for the viewers, the people watching, we're going to break down like the last inning, the top and bottom of the eighth inning after we're done here. Um, let's see here. Okay, Bryn, what's it like to play for Coach Sam Hartley and his staff?
It's a really cool experience. Like just being a part, like all the coaches have different personalities and everything, so it's really cool. Oh, okay. Well,
No, you're still up. You're still up. It's still your question.
um,
That's a
it's
great
a really
point.
yeah, it's a really cool atmosphere. Just like being a part of the team and everything.
Yeah, that's a great point. I know at least who your coaches are. I know some of them personally, and they all bring different personalities to the team, and some of them are more kick back, some of them are more intense. So that's a really good point. And the last thing I'm going to ask you is, you're from Dauphin, right? The borough of
Yeah,
Dauphin, and a lot of the better softball players that have come through Central Dauphin, and before Central Dauphin East. Did you know the Dauphin kids used to go to East,
yeah,
Bryn? Yeah. So
yeah.
over the years, there's been a lot of great softball players come out of Dauphin. Why is that? How is that? I call it the Dolphin effect. There's just something going on up there. Is it in the water? Or you guys must have really great youth programs, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I mean, I don't know. We just kind of like we've all been together since we were younger, so I feel like we have a lot of chemistry together.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to Rachel Burke. Um, what was the stadium like up there? I mean, is that kind of? I'm sure you've played in some nice fields before, but that's kind of like a stadium. Did it feel that way?
Yeah, that was definitely the nicest field I've ever played at.
Had you
And
ever
it was
seen
just
it
cool.
before?
Yeah, I did see a game there one time.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it like being able to be part of that whole experience?
It was really cool. I mean, I'll always remember it, and it was just cool, like the environment, how many people were there. It just
Yeah,
made the game feel like more important.
everything probably feels bigger out there, right?
Yeah.
I know the outfield's pretty big. There's a lot more room to run around out there. Um, and how about the mood of the team? Were you guys able to get into your normal, like, say, let's call it game? I'm sure you have a routine, right? Every game day, you pretty much do the same stuff. Were you able to stay on that kind of path the whole way through pregame warmups, even though you were in a state championship game?
Yeah, I mean, warming up, we were a little rushed because they already had like a plan for our warm-ups. And we didn't have as much time as we usually do on the field, but we did most of the same stuff, and our spirit was the same. We were having fun warming up, staying together.
Yeah, I think, I'm glad you brought that up, Rachel. I think you guys are state champions because of your spirit. I mean that. I mean, there's a lot of teams, and you guys all know this. There's a lot of teams with a lot of talent. I mentioned, there's 625 teams that play out of Pennsylvania, PIAA. You guys finished first out of 625 teams. Can you imagine how many other great teams there were? But I just think you guys had this attitude, like, we're going to go out there, we're going to have fun, we're going to support one another, we're going to be friends, and I think those were kind of the intangibles. Do you feel that way, Rachel?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I mean, I was around you guys, a lot. I covered your games and broadcasted your games and watched you, and I thought, boy, this team's different, man. They're just out there having a blast. Kayla, what about you and Stella? You guys have like an air high five. How long have you guys been, right, Stella? I don't know what to call it. Who came up with that?
I think
Stella?
Kayla did, honestly.
We're
taking it back to our basketball days.
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an air high five. That's what I call it. But you know what? You guys do that if you're up 10 runs or down. Well, I don't think you've ever been down 10 runs, but even if you're down a couple runs in the last inning, you guys are out there having fun, and high fiving. And does that just come natural for you, Stella?
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of been on a team that's like, if you have energy, like, that's going to be contagious. It's like, it's not going to hurt you if you have energy. So no matter what, at the end of the day, it's really just a game. So
Right.
Why not have fun with it?
Yeah, and it's free. Energy's free, by the way, right?
Yeah.
So, and then Rachel, I'm only going to ask you this because you and I were kind of chatting before we went on the air. I asked you if you had any more travel ball left, and what was your answer?
I have one more tournament, and then I'm done with softball.
Oh, wow. And that's fine. I mean, I told Rachel, I interview student athletes all the time, and some of the, best basketball, football, softball, baseball players I interview, they've had a great career. They've had a lot of fun. It's been fulfilling. It's helped them navigate their way through life, and it's just time to move on. Where are you going after this year, Rachel? You going to college?
Yeah, I'm going to St. Joseph's University in Lancaster.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah. And do you have a major picked out?
Yeah, nuclear medicine technology.
Okay, so you're probably a pretty good student, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I never even heard of that. That just sounds really in depth. Okay, so let's move on to Kayla Fletcher. Let's kind of rewind a little bit, Kayla. Freshman season, all right? Now, Kayla, for those who aren't aware, is a returning state all-state player, and who has been playing at a high level for this program since she was a freshman. So, freshman season, I think you guys only lost like 3 games, but you had this kind of tough opening round loss at home, 6-0 to Downingtown East. Do you remember that game?
I do. I think it was our first game after we had lost in the district championship back, and I just know it didn't go very well.
No, it was kind of a dark, not physically dark, like no sun, but just kind of one of those games that, things didn't start out well and they never got better, and it just wasn't Central Dauphin Rams softball. And, but the only reason I say that to bring up that then as a sophomore last year, you lost in what turned out to be a battle to eventual state champion North Penn in the state semifinals. You guys were kind of, at least for you, you knew that you had done better than the prior year and you still had a year left. Was that one of the biggest games that you played, that game against North Penn? in terms of giving you some experience and letting you know that you could play at a high level in big games, Kayla?
Yeah, I think that was the most well-rounded team that we had ever played against. They could hit, they had a really good pitcher, and I think being in that game and then playing in it, but also like being able to battle in it, as I think we only lost by like 2 runs. Like
It was 10-7, but you guys
great,
but you guys could have won the game. I mean, you were right there, you know.
Yeah, I think that it showed us that we were better than we thought, and better than a lot of people thought we were.
Right. And they were the eventual state champs. You just happened to get that draw, that portion of the brackets that you had to play them in the semifinals. And now this. I mean, do you feel like you guys have just been grinding for the 3 years that you've been on the team, just getting a little better, a little more experienced?
Yeah, I think every year we're just putting more and more pieces together, and I think this year it all kind of finally clicked. Obviously, we won the state championship, but I do think that each year we've just been able to fix like little things that have made us become like so good.
And what do you enjoy most about the game of softball? Like what aspect of it?
Are you talking about like
within the game of softball? Do you like to play defense? Do you like to hit for power? Do you like to play small ball, or is it everything?
I don't know. I mean, I love everything.
Yeah, I could tell.
I like honestly, I like base running. I like
really?
I like to keep people off guard.
Right. Okay, good. All right, Stella Gasper. I just asked you a little bit about this, but I have written down here, you have one of the best attitudes I've ever seen for a student athlete, and or one of the most positive demeanors I've ever seen. I've interviewed a lot of athletes before. How did that develop? I mean, is this something that just kind of came to you, or were you that way when you're 8 or 10 years old?
I mean, kind of. I don't really like remember. I think it just kind of like happens because like I don't remember like it being like taught to me or anything like that. But I've always been
everybody else, does she really like that? I mean, like, does the positivity just ooze out of her?
Yeah, I've played with Stella since I was 8, and I don't think I've ever like seen her be upset about like something with softball.
Okay, so it's real, Stella. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, and like you said it best though a few minutes ago. Softball is not life or death. You're out there, you're trying to have a good time, and sometimes you win and sometimes you don't, but you're gonna take the same attitude into a game and away from a game no matter what, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so take us through this season, kind of like a quick down the path. Did this team's confidence ever kind of wane? Did it ever kind of go sideways a little bit? I know you really didn't have any like horrible games. I know that game back in the middle of April against Wilson was kind of tough. I mean, you guys had one hit. Izzy had a bunt to start the game out, no hits after that. What's it feel like? I mean, you look around and you see all these great players and friends, and did you guys feel like maybe, I don't know about this, or is it just one game?
No, I don't think we ever really had like that doubt. I mean, we talk all season about how like we're gonna win. Like it's just one game. We can't let that like get in our head. Like again, like I said earlier, it's just a game. So at the end of the day, again, because that game also it wasn't like an in conference game.
Right.
So it didn't like it mattered, but not really. And I think we knew like we can come back from this. Like it's gonna be fine. Like I think we're all very like mentally tough. So it's like at the end of the day, it's whatever. We're gonna come out the next day at practice and work even harder than we did before.
Yeah, you guys are mentally tough, that's for sure. So when did you feel like you guys hit your stride? Was there like one win that you thought, wow, man, this is really going in the right direction?
I think honestly, after we beat Cumberland Valley up in Dauphin, I think we were like, okay, we know we can hit off of Sydney. So we're like, she's probably the best pitcher we see in conference. And we know we saw the pitcher from Wilson. So after that, I think we all were like, okay, whatever we see next, like pitching wise, like we've probably either already seen it or seen better. So we were able to just kind of like, we had something to like base the pitching off of. And I think that really helped us when we stepped up to the plate.
And I think the pitcher from Chambersburg, I mean, she doesn't throw like really hard heat, but she's crafty and she makes you earn it too. You guys faced a lot of really good pitchers this year. So I think once you got into states, it was like, all right, we've done this before. We've been through this all. Okay, thank you, Stella. Bree Locke. You're a player who seems to contribute in whatever way your team needs in a given game. You play great situational softball. You know what your role needs to be in every situation, both offensively and defensively. Um, is that something that you've always been? Have you always been that way, Bree? Where I might not be the star tonight, but I'm not going to be the person making the big mistake, or I'm going to be the person picking up my teammate if it's her turn. Is that the way you kind of approach softball?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I just want to do whatever it takes to win. And I think emotionally, I'd like just want to make sure all my teammates are good. So if they're down, I definitely want to make sure to make them feel better.
What are you taking away? You're a senior, and I want to ask you this, and you've been around from the beginning. What are you taking away from being a member of the Central Dauphin softball program, Bree?
Probably just not to take for granted the friendships that we've all formed, how to be a good teammate, a good player, and definitely like not take for granted how good this team was. Like it just feels nice to win a lot.
Right, you've won a lot. You've won a Commonwealth division, a district championship, and a state championship. That's pretty darn good. You know what? In that Commonwealth division, that's not easy either. I mean, this year I thought there were 5 good teams. Obviously Central Dauphin, Cumberland Valley, Chambersburg State College was pretty good this year, and even Mechanicsburg. I mean, you guys had 2 big innings against them, but other than that, a lot of that game was pretty tight over in Mechanicsburg. So, yeah, that's a good tune-up playing out of that Commonwealth division. And then there's a coach on this team by the name of Dave Locke. Bree, what's it like? That's your dad. Okay, just what's it like playing and being able to enjoy and share it? Well, first of all, the sport of softball with your father, but a championship like that.
Yeah, it's definitely another thing I don't take for granted at all. Like it's really just special to be able to share such a huge part of my life and experience with someone I love so much and who supports me always.
Yeah, that's pretty special. I mean, I watched your dad how excited he was after the game. They were running around like little kids, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Some people never get that opportunity. Okay, well, thank you, Bree. Now let's move on to sophomore Rosie Reese. What are we looking at there, Rosie?
My wrestling photo.
Oh my, I love that. The first question I would ask you: you're a true two-sport high school athlete, okay? And there aren't as many as there used to be, and that doesn't mean that a lot of athletes couldn't play 2 sports, but many just don't for whatever reason. Is it something that you treat softball and wrestling probably equally as far as their importance in your life, and or is one more of your main sport than the other?
Um, Honestly, softball is probably my main sport. Or no, it definitely is because this is my first year wrestling. But yeah, I mean, they're both really important because I always want to help contribute to my team and help them produce wins.
Now we know what happened in softball, but how was the wrestling? How did that turn out for you?
Oh yeah, we had a good season. We finished 8th in states. Took 3 girls to the state tournament, and
That's
we
good.
had a state champion, Charlotte Guilfoyle.
Hmm.
So I'd say it's a pretty good season for a second-year program.
Yeah, very good season. Now, do you plan on and staying on both teams for the last 2 years of your high school career?
For sure, yeah.
You like them both enough to do that? So what
Yeah.
got you into
Wrestling,
wrestling? Go ahead.
um, I was gonna say wrestling like helped me so much with softball, just like building strength and like agility and stuff like that. But yeah. What was the question again? Sorry.
No, what got you into? I did a show on wrestling like 2 or 3 years ago before it was a sanctioned sport. I just thought it was really cool, and I was excited that girls were going to have the opportunity. But what got you into wrestling?
My dad was a wrestler whenever he was in high school. So that and then also like just wanting to try something new.
Okay, and the last thing I wanted to mention, you guys share the catching duties. Abby's primarily. I think Abby's had more innings than you. And Abby's a junior and you're a sophomore. You guys gave up, I don't know, I don't have the figures for it, the statistic. You guys gave up very few stolen bases this year. And I've seen you throw. I understand why. The opposing coaches probably see that. Is that something you guys kind of pride yourself in as catchers?
Yeah, for sure. I think that we're always both working hard behind the plate and just pushing each other to be better. And I'd say that we both have confidence in each other to get it done.
Is that a lot of fun being back there behind the plate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I caught for 2 seasons and I loved it. It was like the most fun I ever had in baseball. Okay, well, thank you, Rosie. Let's move on now to junior Abby Ream. And I asked Rosie about the being behind the plate, and especially for you know 3 different um, pitchers this year. That I don't know. Bree, did you throw any innings? Maybe at the beginning of the season, right?
No, I threw some innings against Altoona when we went there, but
Okay, but primarily three pitchers. And what was that like? Um, being able to catch 3 different pitchers that throw at such a high level.
It's definitely not easy, especially like with all the pitches they throw and all the spins. But as the season goes on, I just like you get used to it, and yeah, in games, it just really helps with the practice, like bullpens and stuff. So yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask. I could have probably asked anybody this question, but I'll ask you: what are the demands of being committed to softball on a year-round basis? I mean, how many months out of the year are you doing something softball related?
Um, I would say like 10 or 11 months out of the year in total.
That's kind of
Yeah.
what I thought. I didn't know for sure. I was thinking 10 or 11, exactly that. And could you tell the people at home that this is why it's not just you start in March and you're done in May or June? What happens throughout the year that it takes up 10 or 11 months of your year?
Yeah, it's definitely a commitment. You go like right from high school. That starts in March. Trial starts in March, and we ended in June this year. But then you go right from high school to travel ball till August, and then fall ball starts, and then we do winter league for high school. So it's really never ending.
Wow.
But like, yeah, I usually have like a week break here and there, which is why I have like 1 month off. But yeah, it's definitely a commitment, and yeah.
Do you enjoy catching? Is that fun being back here?
Yeah, it's definitely a tough position to
Yeah,
play,
it's a very
but
tough position.
yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah, you get dirty. You're up and down constantly.
Yeah.
You're in every play, which that's the good part of it, I think. Let's see here. Somebody's trying to. Sorry about that. Okay, Gabby Shirk. Sorry to keep you waiting so long.
It's okay.
You were last alphabetically. I want to show you something here. When Coach Kenny Williams was the head coach back in 2019, I was covering the team like I did this year. And we determined that there was one hit that was super instrumental for them winning that state champion. It actually came in the state quarterfinals. And it was by a girl by the name of Tyler White. She hit a double in the top of the 11th inning against North Penn. Okay. That's not the actual hit. I couldn't find it. And then we had what was called the catch. I don't know if you've ever heard of the catch. Look at that. You guys ever hear about that catch? That's in right field at the at Penn State, the same field, and that's in the state championship game. And so that was the hit and the catch. That's Bella Culp there playing second base. This year, though, we also have the hit and the catch. And I'm going to put the hit up. Where do we? Okay, we're going to throw the catch up for now. Talk about that catch there, Gabby. I know that you've done that before, maybe not in a game of that magnitude, but the situation was kind of that you had to have that catch, or things might have gotten a lot worse. It was like a line drive, it wasn't up in the air long. Did you read it right off the bat?
Yeah, I mean, I knew that it was really important to like give it our all. And like compared to last year, it was like the same situation. It was like a high stake game, and every out mattered. So yeah.
Yeah, I want people to know that last year she did something just as incredible, a catch in right center field. And you had Allie Wenrick out there, who was a great defensive player. It was just one of you two had to kind of go for it, and you ended up being that person. And you were running head on into the fence last year. And so that's why I say this wasn't the first time for you. Do you enjoy being out there and making those crazy circus catches?
Oh yeah, yeah, I do.
And I also want to mention another thing. Kayla Fletcher had no strikeouts all season. Okay, Gabby, you only had one. That's pretty incredible. And the two of you were the two players on the team that both hit over 400. I guess that's no surprise. But do you kind of pride yourself, Gabby, and if you get into a hole, just trying to figure out a way to put the ball in play, or maybe work a walk? What's it like to be that kind of hitter that just rarely strikes out?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm usually a contact hitter, so I usually just put it in play and then see where it goes. But I feel like I work better when the people in front of me also contribute. So if Kayla or Izzy get on, like, I feel like I am more confident in my at bat then.
Kind of gives you a little more incentive too when there's somebody out there on base. Kayla, you get yourself in like a lot of 0-2 holes, right? That's just the way things work sometimes. I mean, I see you take a pitch sometimes because it's just not your pitch, probably, right?
Yeah. Usually in my at bats, especially first time through, I'm looking for a certain pitch, and if I'm not getting it, then I'm not swinging at it until I have 2 strikes.
Right. So, yeah, I think it's just that's the kind of hitter you are. I mean, between the two of you, had one strikeout, but I realized it probably halfway through the season. I was like, she hasn't struck out yet. But that's not really like, I don't think that's a goal that you set for the beginning of the season, right? You're just trying to go one at bat at a time, correct?
Yeah. I'm just trying to get on base.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Gabby, let's see. Talk about your approach to hitting against. Do you realize that you guys are going up against the best pitchers game in and game out? Like you never get a break. Does that make a difference, or you're just whoever's out there against you, you're just going up against them with the same attitude?
Yeah, I feel like we've seen such good pitching, and especially like in the playoffs. So we're just used to it, and we practice on the machine and practice, like we said at Fire. And I just feel like we're prepared for it.
Okay. So let's before we get into that 8th inning, I want to show a few pictures here. There's a bunch of different pictures of you guys having a whole lot of fun, right?
It's the same with me. Yes.
You guys might not have that much fun the rest of your lives. There's the photo of everybody that's joining us tonight, plus Elena, who didn't make it, and then the moments following the game. So let's jump into this 8th inning. Kind of a little bit of nostalgia here, and we did this with Coach Hartley, and we had a lot of fun with it. Let's go to the top of the 8th. Okay, Autumn, you're still in the circle. You give up a leadoff double. Okay, Coach Hartley comes out, brings Stella in. How'd you feel about that?
I mean, I knew that Stella, she was our main pitcher throughout the whole season, so I knew that. Obviously, I pitched 7 innings before that, so I was getting a little tired, and she was fresh.
Right.
So,
kind of the right move, maybe. Yeah. So Autumn comes out, and in comes your ace. So you don't see that too often. And I mean, once Stella came in there, I was like, oh, they're CD's in good shape here. And you battled. You really. Let's talk about the other moves that were made at the same time. Haley San Martin went to left. Bryn, that's when you came in. You went to first base. And Autumn, you had retired 12 straight batters. Did you know that before that double? Yeah,
no.
that's like four whole innings that they didn't do anything. They weren't able to do anything against you. So runner on second now, no outs, and the Gabby Shirk catch. I mean, that's why I said it wasn't just a great catch; it was so timely. You know what happens if you don't make that catch and you got a runner on second? She's definitely scoring, and that's either at least a double, maybe a triple. I mean, that's a whole different ball game. So that's why I want people to know it's more than just a great diving catch. So then comes an infield single down the third base line. Okay. I want to mention too, the runner did not advance from second on that catch by Gabby. So the runner on second advances on the infield single. Now you have first and third with one out. Stella, you starting to feel it a little bit? Stella? Okay.
Not really, because I knew we had. Oh, okay. I knew we had like my defense behind me, so I wasn't worried.
That's a great answer. I love that answer. So then the next batter up, single to right, right over the first base, right down the first base line, scores a run and puts first and third again with one out. Then a huge strikeout for Stella. Just when you needed it, you got it. And up steps Taylor Friel. She's the probably the best hitter on their team. And I thought it was a great move to intentionally walk her. And then the fly out to shallow center to end the inning. So did you guys realize while you were out there that inning could have been a lot worse were it not for Gabby, were it not for Stella, making some big pitches? What was the feeling coming off the field having only given up one run and knowing you had a chance in the bottom of the eighth? Anybody want to answer that? Bryn, you were just in the game. You were in there on defense. Did you guys feel good about only giving up one run and having a chance to go in and win the game?
I definitely think that we were kind of nervous. Obviously that was a really big inning. But I think we all had confidence that we were hitting the ball and that we could go up and do it again.
Right. Yeah, because you went the whole game only scoring one run in 7 innings. So now you had to score another one, at least one more in the 8th inning. Okay, so we could move to the bottom of the 8th. You're down one run. You have to have a run to survive. Leadoff single by Stella. Hard hit to the shortstop. Might have been their best player. I don't know. She was a really good shortstop. So Stella gets to first base. That's the start that you want, that you really got to have. And then, I mentioned Bree. You're one of those players that just kind of gives your team what they need at any given time. Great sacrifice bunt. You put the bunt down where there was no way there was going to be any play at second. You have a lot of confidence in there bunting like that?
Yeah, honestly, I don't mind bunting. I do feel confident that I'll get it down. So yeah, when he gave me the bunt signal, I knew it was the right move, so I had no problem doing it.
Right. Okay. So that advances Stella down to second. Lexi Robineau comes in as a courtesy runner for Stella. So now you have one out with a runner on second. Rachel Burke. I don't even know how to put this. That was your coach agrees with me. One of the best at bats that I've seen. Period. And it was just a walk. It wasn't a home run. It wasn't a double in the gap. It was a walk as good as one that I've ever seen. And we're going to kind of go through that walk here, just because I thought it was so sensational. Okay. So first pitch you get up is a ball. Okay, then you foul 2 off. Now it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. You still feeling confident up there, Rachel? Any nerves?
Yeah, I was a little nervous, but that pitcher was good. She was good at hitting her spots, but I felt confident because I had made contact my other at-bats, and I just wanted to do whatever it took to get on base for my team, whether that was a hit or a walk.
Right. Okay, so now you have, after the 2 foul balls, 1 ball and 2 strikes, another ball, 2-2. And then you foul 2 more off. But they were hard foul balls. You weren't just hanging in there, I thought you were getting a lot of bat on the ball. Were you seeing the ball pretty well?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you take two more balls and you walk. Again, maybe the best at bat of the game by anyone from either team that didn't, again, hit a double in the gap or anything like that. It was just your team had to have it. Your team had to have the bunt from Bree. Then they had to have you do something like that, and you guys both delivered. Um, so let's move on to. So Rachel, you're down at first, and we have runners on first and second now. Abby Ream, a ground out. The girl made a great play on you, Abby. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yes. I thought she was one of the best players I've seen all year as a shortstop. A ground out to deep short. Nice play by Emma Infantino was her name, but the runners advanced to second and third. It was like a sacrifice, So it wasn't a bad at bat at all, not at all. Alexa Trimble comes in, pinch runs for Rachel. Coach Hartley has now used 15 of the 16 players that he brought to State College. That's a pretty incredible number. A game of that magnitude, sometimes you only use 9 or 10 players, and you guys were able to have 15 players take part in that game. So now we have Autumn Andrioli re-enters. You had been on base 3 times, Autumn. I think a walk and 2 hits. Is that right?
Yeah.
Single, double, and a walk. What's it feel like, going up there as a freshman and being intentionally walked like that?
I wasn't actually expecting it. I kept kind of looking back at Kayla, and she kept trying to reassure me of to stay confident. But I actually wasn't expecting to be intentionally walked. It was actually my first time.
So Kayla's keeping your confidence up over there too, not just out in the circle, right? That a girl, Kayla. That's awesome. I love that. Okay, so they do walk you. Up steps Bryn Barkley. And I talked earlier about, in 2019 you had the hit and the catch, and this is the hit. 2025, the hit. And it just well, you talk us through it. I mean, you got runners on second and third. You have to plate at least the runner from third to let the game go any further than that. And talk about coming out of the circle and the whole mindset going into the batter's box there.
It was like I was really scared. I'm not gonna lie, I was really scared. Kayla kept telling me that you know what to do, you got this. But I went up there, I had confidence that I could hit the ball, and then I kind of just did my thing in the box.
And what did Coach Hartley? I didn't even see. Did Coach Hartley have anything to say to you, or did he just stay down in the coach's box?
He just kind of nodded his head and was like, "Yeah, do your thing."
Right. I mean, it was kind of a textbook swing, a textbook hit. You hit it really hard. Was it one of those hits that felt like you could barely feel it coming off the bat because you hit it so squarely?
Yeah. At first, I thought I was it was a grounder to the second baseman, but then I saw it go through, and I was like, "Oh, I actually hit it kind of hard."
Yeah, you hit it pretty hard. And then the amazing thing is, Lexi Robinalt, freshman, played 4 games all year, hadn't scored a run all year. She scores the tying run. And then a sophomore, Alexa Trimble, who had been in 6 games all year, had scored 3 runs all season. She scores the winning run. That's really talk about using everybody on the roster to contribute to a win. That's how you get that. That's how that occurs. And credit all the players, including Bryn, that sometimes if you sit on the bench for an hour and 20 minutes, it's not easy to get yourself immediately acclimated to the game. So all of you guys that came in late in the game that were able to, contribute at such a high level and there was no room for error, Bryn, right? You had to do something positive and you got it done. And talk about the feeling when you knew that those 2 girls scored behind you or in front of you.
At first, I didn't know that the second girl scored. I kind of thought it was just Alexa. Was it? I don't know who scored before. Was it someone before?
Lexi scored first.
Oh, okay. Then Lexi. I thought Lexi just scored, and all I saw was Coach Dave saying, "Get back on first." And then I saw Alexa come and slide in, and then I was like, oh my God, we just won. And
Right.
then we all kind of like rushed.
Did Coach Dave was just being a responsible first base coach. That was his job in that moment, was to make sure that you stayed on first safely. Did anybody see Alexa after she scored? You guys have to watch that. She kind of got up, didn't know what to do with herself. She didn't know what to do next. And she stood there for a second and she saw all you guys kind of, huddled up with one another, and then she just ran over. But it was like, wow, she's probably so excited. She really doesn't know what to do next. And the last thing I'm going to ask is, Kayla, what was going on in your mind? You were on deck because you very easily could have gotten up. If Bryn would have not made an out but not plated both runners. What were you thinking on deck there?
Honestly, I didn't think I was gonna get up. I was under the impression that we were gonna end the game right there and Bryn was gonna walk it off. So like honestly, I was just thinking about her and I was not thinking about anything that I was gonna do because I knew it was gonna be over.
That's a great answer. Oh my. Bryn, you got a big smile on your face. How's that feel? Your teammate Kayla having that much confidence in you?
Thanks, Kayla.
No, I love that. That's kind of a great way to end this show. But I think what we'll do is we're going to go around the horn. Thank you, girls. If you had to sit there and wait for questions, I'm sorry. It's just not easy to do 9 players in a 46 minutes time. Let's finish up with shout outs though. Rachel Burke, you want to shout anybody out? Say hello to anyone at home?
Yeah, I just want to thank my parents for supporting me and my teammates. They were there every step of the way.
Rosie Reese.
Yeah, my parents for just getting me to all the places I need to be and help me become the best player I can.
We got to show that again. I love that. That is great. I promise I'm going to come watch you wrestle. I love that. Kayla Fletcher.
Yeah, just my family and my friends watching.
All right, and let's go to Brelock.
Yeah, all my family, but all my extended family and friends because they have supported me all season.
Okay, Gabby Shirk.
My parents, my grandparents, Allie Locke. I know you're watching.
Abby Ream.
That's it. I'd say my parents, my family, and also especially my teammates.
Okay, Stella.
And Coach Dave. And Coach Dave. And Coach Sam. All the coaches.
Yeah, definitely just my parents again, teammates.
Is Stella frozen?
Yeah.
She's talking without talking. Okay, so her family and her teammates. Bryn, how about you? Shout outs?
My family and my teammates. And
then
yeah.
And we're gonna finish where we started. Autumn Andrioli, you want to say hello to anybody?
To my coaches, teammates, parents, family.
Well, I just want you guys to know that, okay, let's see. We have some comments here. Let's see if we want to answer. Monica Straub. Does anybody know Monica Straub? She says, awesome girls, terrific team. Congratulations on gold. Central Dauphin proud.
Thank you. Thanks, Monica.
Monica Straub. How about William Scott? I think that's one of Rosie's relatives. Is that right, Rosie?
Yeah, he's an old basketball coach of mine.
Okay, he said, let's go, Rosie. Congratulations, young ladies. And Rosie, by the way, you got some really cool grandparents. I sat with them at the they're really cool. They're nice people. I sat with them out in center field at the state college game. And we hung out for, about 45 minutes. I really enjoyed their company, and they love you very much. And they're just excited that you're out there, doing so well. And then Jeannie Mahar Shirk.
Oh my.
She said, looks like great job with a thumbs up, maybe.
Thanks, Grandma.
Some kind of icon. Okay. But the last thing I want to say is, Dave Locke, we beat Chambersburg from Coach Williams.
Oh my God.
I don't know what that means. Okay. The comments are pouring in. Dave, how you doing? Congratulations.
If you know,
Um,
if I'm completely honest.
I want to say that we broadcasted probably maybe a little more than half your games. We did some away games this year, and man, I'm just really proud of you guys. I don't know what else to say. I cover high school sports, and I try not to play favorites, and I try to be kind of as equal as I can. And I do a pretty good job of it, but you guys were just one of those teams that I embraced. I felt really good about. I liked you guys as young ladies, and just your attitude and the way you showed up at the field every game, and the way you supported one another, and the way you kept your chin up and came out of losses and had big wins and never let anything get to you. And if I could say this, I'm just proud of you. I don't know what else to say, but you guys are awesome, and thanks for the opportunity to do this. And Kayla, I'm sorry that I wasn't up there for that game. You gave me crap. You said you weren't going to forgive me for that. I had another work obligation. I would normally never. All right, I would normally never miss a game. I can't believe I did, but I had another podcast scheduled. But anyway, I watched the game. Kayla, I made up for it. I watched the whole game 4 times, literally 4 times. I watched it live. Then I watched it on replay that same night, and then I watched it twice since then to prepare for the show tonight. So great guys, ladies, or great job, ladies, and you guys are all awesome. It was a lot of fun, and try to get some downtime here over the summer and enjoy your warm weather. And those that are going off to college, good luck with that. Those that are doing other things, good luck with whatever you're doing. So really appreciate it. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
That's the state champion Rams softball team, folks.